What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Truth Addiction. This is the channel that deals with the disease of addiction and all the ways it manifests itself. I'm a recovering addict. My name is Brian. I suffer from a disease which is incurable, it's progressive, and unfortunately, sometimes it is fatal. It can, however, be arrested at some point, and recovery is then possible. So I just want to know, how's everybody feeling out there? You know what I mean? Another great day to be clean, great day to be alive, right? It's a little rainy here on the outskirts of Philadelphia where I presently am, and it's where I reside. Today will be the third video of my 12-part series that I'm running, which corresponds with the 12 steps of the 12-step program. Mine happens to be Narcotics Anonymous. Yours can be whatever you want it to be. The steps fall in line. They're all the same in any anonymous program you go to. Like I say in the beginning of all of them, all these videos, except for the first step, it differs a little bit just in one of the words, like, for instance, Alcoholics Anonymous, they will say in their first step, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and our lives become unmanageable. Gamblers Anonymous will say on their first step, we admitted we were powerless over gambling and our lives become unmanageable. And in Narcotics Anonymous, our first step says, we admitted we were powerless over our addiction and our lives become unmanageable. It's kind of like we just take it all and just call it addiction, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Whatever ails you. So it's why I chose Narcotics Anonymous. And I would also like to say, I'm not here to promote Narcotics Anonymous. It's just the 12-step fellowship that I joined. And I believe in all 12-step programs. Any recovery program that has to do with a 12-step program, I think that is the way to go for somebody with the disease of addiction. Right? So I'm not promoting NA. Narcotics Anonymous is not the only way to go. So let me just get that out there. So let's just jump in. And listen, man, you know, if you're watching these videos, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the like button if you haven't. And maybe even that notification bell. Because, you know, you can help me carry this message, right? So like I said, today's step 3. Without further ado, let's get in. Oh, so what I'm going to do is, I forgot this part. I'm going to read the step. I'm going to stop reading here and there, and I'm going to give you my experience on it. If you have some experience, I would love to hear it. Put it in the comments. All right? My goal here is to introduce people who might be struggling or thinking about going to meetings and to a 12-step program, right? And maybe you want to know what it's about. That's the goal of these 12 videos I'm going to do pertaining to the 12 steps of a recovery 12-step program. All right? Let's go. Step 3. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Now, before I get to reading this is the part where a lot of people go, oh man, here comes the cult thing. Here comes the God, right? And it bugs some people out, man. When I come across people who are using and they're trying to find something different, they're struggling, and I mention, hey, why don't you try some meetings, man? One of the first things people say to me is, I can't get with that God thing, man. And like, here it is. Some people, because of the way their lives went, they blame God, right? In the deity sense. They do. I was raised Catholic. I stopped being raised Catholic by the time I was probably about 13 years old. Here I sit today as an atheist, right? But that's the beauty of this thing. Narcotics Anonymous is not a religious program. It can be, though, in the sense of if you have a deity, Jesus, Allah, you know, Buddha, whoever it is, all them dudes, it's cool, man, right? Mine just happens to be the God of my understanding. I look at the word God as good, orderly direction, right? For me, the higher power is the group itself, right? My higher power comes through me, the power I need to stay clean, because I can't do it on my own. It comes by way of the group. People with good orderly direction in the program of Narcotics Anonymous. That's all it is. So don't let the God word bug you out. And no, this ain't the step where you're going to give all your monetary belongings, give it away, and get on your knees and pray all day long. That's not what this is. This, in a nutshell, step 3, you are committing to doing the rest of the steps. Just look at it like that. You're committing to staying clean, and you're committing to not stop the process and continue on with steps 4 through 12. Pretty simple. All right, here we go. As addicts, we turn our will and our lives over many times to a destructive power. Our will and our lives were controlled by drugs. We were trapped by our own need for instant gratification that drugs gave us. During that time, our total being, body, mind, and spirit was dominated by drugs. For a time, it was pleasurable. Then the euphoria began to wear off, and we saw the ugly side of addiction. We found that the higher our drugs took us, the lower they brought us. We faced 2 choices. Either we suffered the pain of withdrawal or took more drugs. Bro, I can't tell you about what that fear of withdrawal did to me. Now, some people don't do drugs that are, that give you a physical withdrawal. There's certain drugs that don't really give you a physical withdrawal. It all messes with your brain. It all can reconstruct your brain in a way that's no good for us. But I was an opiate guy. And then you have things like even alcohol. Hey, alcohol is one of the worst withdrawals there is. Because you can literally die from an alcohol withdrawal. You can't die from a heroin withdrawal. You're going to feel like ass. Don't get it fucked up. But an alcohol withdrawal is even more vicious. But I can't tell you how many days I woke up and said, today's going to be the day I'm not going to use anymore. I'm going to get clean today. And boy, that withdrawal would start. Man, and all that, your mom, your spouse, your dad, your kids, whatever it is, begging you to stop using, it's all going through your head, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to stop today. Today's going to be the day. That withdrawal would kick in, and then all of a sudden, not today. I gotta make this pain stop, bro. And it's vicious. And that withdrawal, my personal belief, is one of the reasons people turn to things like Suboxone and methadone, because they don't want to use, they don't want to buy drugs anymore. They don't want to go through that whole lifestyle of having to get money, getting arrested, doing all that foul shit to get it. So methadone and Suboxone, they become good outlets to, in my opinion, you're still getting high, but you don't have to feel that withdrawal and live that, like I said, getting arrested, going broke, and, people recover in their own way. I don't believe in those things like Suboxone and methadone and all that. I don't think an addict needs that at all. For me, it's just, you have to be abstinent, and then change will occur as you go through your 12-step process. But the fear of that withdrawal is a bitch. Don't get it fucked up. You're looking at one of your family members who can't stop, and you wondering like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with this motherfucker, bro? That withdrawal kicks in, that shit is crazy, dude. And you gotta feed the beast. It's fucked up. For all of us, the day came when there was no longer a choice. We had to use. It's kind of what I just said. Having given our will and our lives to our addiction in utter desperation, we look for another way. In Narcotics Anonymous, we decide to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. As we understand Him, understand that right? This is a personal choice. It's the God of your understanding. Your God ain't the God of my understanding. It's the God of your understanding. Get it? This is a giant step, and it is. We don't have to be religious. Anyone can take this step. All that is required is willingness. All that is essential is that we open the door to a power greater than ourselves. Right? This is the willingness step. See, in step 1, that deals with the surrender. That deals with admitting you have a problem and trying to come to terms with it. Right? And in step 2, we learn a little bit of faith, hope. We think maybe we found something that could keep us clean here in these meetings. Maybe this whole 12 step, get a sponsor, let them guide me through the steps, and seeking a power greater than ourselves, maybe this could work for us, right? And this step deals with being willing to let that happen. Our concept of God comes not from dogma, but from what we believe and from what works for us. Many of us understand God to be simply whatever force keeps us clean. The right to a God of your understanding is total and without any catches. Because we have this right, it is necessary to be honest about our belief if we are to grow spiritually. That's a funny ass joint right there. See, I remember trying a 12-step program before, and I stayed clean for a little bit. Like I told you, I was raised Catholic. So when I got into 12-step meetings, it did seem like I needed to follow the whole Jesus thing. I seem to be around a lot of Catholic people in rooms. So I'll admit, man, like I kind of went back to that, and I was putting my faith and everything into a power greater than myself that I didn't even believe in. I was using their God, dude. And not that there's nothing wrong with that, but it wasn't mine, right? So when I came back, right, so I went through a bad relapse, and then I finally committed to this, and I came back, and I said to myself, look, I'm going to stay true to myself and what I believe. I believe in this program as a whole, and I believe that there is crazy amounts of healing that happen within a group setting here, right? It's called empathy. We can all relate with each other. A lot of people been where I've been, and a lot of people are where I want to get to, right? So it is necessary to be honest about your belief. It really is. This program is about being honest. Like, we come here, and most of us have to learn how to be honest, because we just been dog shit for so long, bro. We've been telling so many lies, we can't even remember the fucking lies anymore. Shit, I told so many lies, I was living my reality as if those lies I told really happened. How crazy is that shit? We found that all we needed to do was try. When we gave our best effort, the program worked for us, as it has worked for countless others. The third step does not say we turned our will and our lives over to the care of a God. It says we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. There's a big difference between that. If you have to, rewind this video after it's done and listen to what I just said. There's a big difference between those two lines. We made the decision. It was not made for us by the drugs, our families, a probation officer, judge, therapist, or doctor. We made it. For the first time since that first high, we have made a decision for ourselves. For the first, bro. The word decision implies action. Right? Dig this. The word decision implies action. In other words, just because you make a decision to do something doesn't mean you're actually going to do it. You feel what I'm saying? Think about how many times you decided to do something but didn't actually do it. So here's a big deal. And I'll put it like this. I remember the first time I was in rehab, and one of my counselors was talking about this, making a decision thing. And he goes, listen to this. He goes, you got 3 frogs on a log. One frog decides to jump off. How many frogs are left? And basically everybody, including myself, went, there's 2 frogs left. And he was like, no, there's still 3 frogs. Because one just decided to jump. Doesn't mean he actually jumped. So that's about as easy as you can break that down right there. We can decide to do all kinds of shit. It's action, baby. It just implies action. It's not an actual action. This decision is based on faith. We have only to believe that the miracle that we see working in the lives of clean addicts can happen to any addict with a desire to change. We simply realize there is a force for spiritual growth that can help us become more tolerant, patient, and useful in helping others. Many of us have said, take my will and my life, guide me in my recovery, show me how to live. The relief of letting go and letting God helps us develop a life that is worth living. That right there, I say it every morning. Some point in the morning, I always say, I just kind of take my will and my life, guide me in my recovery, show me how to live. And I can assure you, your boy is an atheist, but I still say it. I'm just putting it out there in the universe. Like, just kind of, it's almost like reminding myself that, like, yo, on your own, trying to stay clean, you suck. So let's get some props out there to the motherfucking universe, right? Help me stay clean. Take my will. Thank you for another day clean, as a matter of fact, right? That thing too, right there, the relief of letting go and letting God. Like I said, that God for you, it could be a deity. And that's fucking cool, man. My sponsor, he believes in a deity. His God is, I'll just put it out there. It's Jesus, man. Jesus is cool, bro. I don't, it ain't for me, but it's cool. But let me tell you something. See, for me, that reads, letting go and letting good, orderly direction guide me. That's what the God stands for me. But let me tell you something. This step right here, if you actually are willing to do this step and commit to this, right? You know what gets relieved, bro? Fear. You know how most of us in this world walk around with a lot of fear. We don't even know it. We're not even aware of how much fear runs our decisions and non-decisions in life. That's just for regular human beings that don't suffer from the disease of addiction. Somebody with the disease of addiction who already got a malfunctioning brain, it's 10 times worse. Fear is a bitch. But when you can let go and just go, you know what? I surrender, man. I'm not driving this fucking ship anymore. I'm not steering this ship anymore, bro. Right? Here, NA as a whole, you steer the ship. Give me the direction. I'll follow it. So this way I know that any decision I make is done in a good fashion. I'm dotting my I's and crossing my T's. I'm asking people about shit. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think about that? I'm taking pauses and reacting to life in a slower way than just instantaneously, right? That instant shit is usually what gets us to fucking trouble. But letting go, what a beautiful concept. It relieves fear, man. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. Surrendering to the will of our higher power gets easier with daily practice. When we honestly try, it works. Many of us start our day with a simple request for guidance from our higher power. Like I just said, that's what I do every day. Although we know that turning it over works, we may still take our will and our life back. We may even get angry because God permits it. Like, I'm How many times you heard people like that? I can't believe God is doing this to me. Right? Fucking fuck God, man. He ain't shit. I'm trying to do the right thing. He just keeps shitting on me. But here's the deal, man. Here's how I look at life. Life's random, bro. You can be the best person on earth and do the right thing every time. Life will still shit on you. People will still fail you. But that doesn't mean you don't stop being good. That you don't stop helping people and try to be the best human being you can be. Life just sucks sometimes, bro. Here we go. At times during our recovery, the decision to ask for God's help is our greatest source of strength and courage. You better fucking believe it is. You better believe it, man. We cannot make this decision often enough. We surrender quietly and let the God of our understanding take care of us. At first, our heads reeled with the questions. What will happen when I turn my life over? Will I become perfect? We may have been more realistic than this. Some of us had to turn to an experienced NA member and ask, what was it like for you? The answer will vary from member to member. I remember when I got to this step, man, and I thought, here it comes, man. This is where, like he said, man, like you're going to be perfect. I don't know if I thought I was going to be perfect, but I thought, yo, this is where I lose myself totally and give myself over to this. And I'll just be a fucking drone or something. Like that whole cult thing. That cult thing that's wrapped around 12-step programs, which is total fucking bullshit. I mean, seriously, dude. Like I just told you, I'm a fucking atheist, so I don't even know where the fucking people that think there's a cult happening when you enter a 12-step meeting. It's ridiculous to me, right? So, like it says, it'll vary from member to member. You know what I mean? But I really thought, I was a little nervous. And not only that, because I had failed at so much other shit when I was using. I couldn't even plan anything because the plan would never work. Man, you'd be like, yeah, you want to go down the shore in 2 weeks? Yeah, I'm down, let's do that. And then that shit hits in 2 weeks and you broke as fuck, bro. You ain't trying to go down the shore, you're trying to buy another one. So you start feeling like that off of everything. The relationship won't work out. The job won't work out. These people won't work out. You're so fucking skeptical, man. Once again, fear, man. Fear's a bitch, man. Anyway, most of us feel open-mindedness, willingness, and surrender are the keys to this step. And they absolutely are, bro. You have to be, first of all, you have to be open-minded to whatever you're going to do that's new. You have to. Because, like our literature talks about, you cannot graft a new idea on a closed mind. Just think about it. When you're closed off, you can't be aware of anything, bro. You're just walking around ignorant as fuck. How can you change like that? And willingness, for sure. I mean, you got to be willing. You got to be willing to get up and go to meetings every night, or at least as much as you can. You have to be willing to ask another person, whether you're a woman asking another woman to sponsor you and to guide you through these steps, or you're a man asking another man to guide you through these steps. What you're really asking is like, yo, can you help me save my life? Because on my own, I can't do it. And that's rough for people to accept, man. That's a rough joint for people to accept, man. And of course, surrender. You got to surrender every day, man. Listen, I used to think that this whole walking around the earth thing, this whole living life thing, was all about me surviving the world. But then I figured out, because of this disease that I have, that puts my brain in a state of disorder, it's really about me surviving myself. How about that, bro? When you gotta survive your fucking self. That takes surrender on a daily basis, man. Like we talk about, we are on a daily reprieve. So a daily reprieve, in my opinion, must require a daily effort, right? We have surrendered our will and our lives over to the care of a power greater than ourselves. If we are thorough and sincere, we will notice a change for the better. Our fears are lessened. Like I just said, man, what a gift it is to lessen your fears. Everybody still got a little fear. Fear still pops up on me with certain shit. But man, to lessen them, bro, it's a fucking miracle, man. Our fears are lessened and faith begins to grow as we learn the true meaning of surrender. We are no longer fighting fear, anger, guilt, self-pity, or depression. We realize that the power that brought us to this program is still with us and will continue to guide us if we allow it. We are slowly beginning to lose the paralyzing fear of hopelessness. Bro, let me tell you something. My predecessors that wrote this shit here, I mean, this shit is going, I don't know how, I mean, this literature might be damn near 100 years old at this point. This shit's crazy. How the fuck did they even write this? How did they even get together and know all this shit that still applies today? This shit is crazy. Paralyzing fear of hopelessness. If you're an addict with the disease of addiction and you've been through just drug out, fucked over an active addiction state, and even after you stop using, and some of us who never even use drugs understand what that paralyzing fear, man. That's a bitch, man. But imagine being relieved of that. I have been, man. I don't ever experience paralyzing fear anymore. Ever. Like I said, like a little feared up here and there of some stupid shit. Never that paralyzing fear anymore, dude. Shit is crazy. The proof of this step is shown in the way we live. We have come to enjoy living clean and want more of the good things that the Narcotics Anonymous Fellowship holds for us. We know now that we cannot pause in our spiritual program. We want all that we can get. We are now ready for our first honest self-appraisal, and we begin to take step 4. And I'm just going to end with this. When it just says, we know now that we cannot pause our spiritual program. Let me just make this step real easy for you right here at the wrong. This step, in its easiest way to understand it, is basically this. I will become willing to commit to doing step 4. That's basically what it is, man. I will be willing to get a little honest and do step 4. That's really what it is. You're turning your will and your life over to the care of, like I said, could be your deity, but most of all, it's to the care of other recovering addicts. Because dig this, there is no greater weapon for a recovering addict to stay clean than another recovering addict. There is no parallel. That power is immense. Just saying. Anyway, that'll do it for me. If you stuck around, listen to that whole thing, I really appreciate it. I hope you got something out of it, man. I really do. And like I said, if you could, leave a comment. Tell me if you can relate to some things. Or maybe you could say something that it's always good to get different angles of these steps, you know what I mean? I'm a literature guy. I like to talk recovery with people. And you know, sometimes you can hear something 1,000 times, but it takes that one time with that one person that says it in a certain way, and then all of a sudden it just clicks in your fucking head. I never fucking looked at it like that. You know what I mean? So anyway, I appreciate you watching. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't, hit that notification bell if you haven't for me. Help me carry this message, and I'll end this like I always end it. Just remember this. The disease of addiction is broad and outside of the realm of just using drugs. Keep coming back. More will be revealed. I'm out of here, man.